Okay, I'm recording, so don't say anything racist. And here we go. Um, well, you sound pretty good on my end. Sound pretty clear. If there's an even better mic, then you'll start to outshine me. Oh, there we go.
Where's microphone? Okay, there we go. Okay, now there we go. How am I for volume? Right, I can look at my own input sensitivity.
You're great.
All right.
Honestly, I should be up a little bit
Okay.
more.
Cool.
Uh,
Da, 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 da. Oh my god, I have Tom Petty stuck in my head.
I always get like 3 seconds of radio songs stuck in my head that I don't know the name of or the lyrics to. It'll just be like a 3 note jingle looping in my head constantly. And before this, I got real fired up because our local Walmart uh, started stopping people at the exits again to check receipts because of the holidays. And nothing gets under my skin more than someone stopping me at the exit after I paid for something. And I cussed at the guy today and embarrassed my wife. How are things with you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Are we? Wait. Are we? Is this show stuff or is this not show stuff?
This is just I'm just talking to you. I have a
Just chilling.
recording now,
Okay.
but I'm only like this beginning stuff. I'm probably gonna cut all of it out. Uh, yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, I'll
yeah.
say this, and you can decide whether or not it's a good clip or not.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on with me. Well, I guess the big news in my life right now is that I got into a relationship, and I think it's really gonna up my left wing credibility. For I too am now dating I am now in a polyamorous relationship with with a non-binary OnlyFans model. So
Uh, the whole
I think
left-wing audience of 3 people applauded for that one here.
they're also a vegan activist.
Oh, see, yeah, you did the hat trick.
Yep. Oh, and actually, this is cool. A friend of mine found a company that sells orig- old time original hash, old school
Oh, like
hash.
bubble hash.
Yeah. Look at that
Oh,
shit.
that's cool. Was it like was it imprinted? I
Oh, I
know
don't
some of
know.
them do like imprints, like you know how um I'm sure this is common knowledge, but you know how people press acid into candy powder and have their own
Oh,
they have their own impressions that they make, and so it's like it'll be like a little bunny rabbit will be the candy, but it has acid in it. It's a very common thing.
I've actually I've actually never gotten candy and acid. I mean, I've never gotten acid in candy form.
Yeah, they also do it with ecstasy. It's putting it in the candy powder and then packing it into little pills. It's easier to sell at raves. Um, but it's like completely it's completely impossible to tell how strong it is. That's when you get people being like, don't do the yellow acid. Um, okay, let me. Okay, so a little bit of context here. We are um, working on a future video, a longer project in the future, and so in that process, I have gathered a lot of clips that are a little bit like they're either funny or alarming depending on like how nihilistic you are, I guess. But we're gonna try to make light of them ahead of the actual handing off the torch to Trump, where things are going to get most likely a little bit more serious and things won't be as funny anymore. Um, but a couple of funny things have happened, or at least things that we can make fun of. So this is laughing at Republicans before they burn down America. Um,
Oh yeah.
here's here's a here's a good transition video. So last time we talked, it was on my podcast, and we talked a little bit about Tony Hinchcliffe. Very
Yeah.
popular segment came out of that. Almost hit
Yeah, I'm reading some
400
of the
views.
comments. I'm reading some of the comments people left on it.
Oh yeah, they're great. Lots of support, and um, it feels like something I want to pursue more is getting us together because we got a lot of feedback, and I feel like that's good because I mean a lot of the stuff I put out doesn't even like get anywhere, but people are angry, and it's better than nothing. So let's make them angry again. Let's do a little bit of conservative rage bait. Anyway, right after
Okay.
Tony Hinchcliffe made those jokes, the whole party turned on him. At least for a couple days before they won the election, and now they're probably like, "Oh, he's awesome. That's why
Mhm.
we won the election, was being racist."
Yeah.
But uh, before they won and after the joke, Donald Trump posted this video onto his um, X account. This is this is a song. It's called Puerto Ricans for Trump. So we're gonna listen to this little jam, and I'm gonna
Oh
get
my
your
god.
reaction. Uh, okay, here we go.
Okay, I mean, racially motivated propaganda based music. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Oh yeah. Uh, oh, where's the
Just
right
so everyone
upload
knows,
here?
I'm smoking hash, not crack.
Where's the right? Not showing up. I feel a lot less pressure not doing a podcast because
Just
when
gonna chop
it's
it up.
yeah, when it's so long, and um I feel like I have to keep talking to fill up that space, and then I get off track a bunch. But at least like this, I can be like silent for a full 30 seconds while you stare at your camera. Oh,
I
okay.
mean, you can always chop out some dead air on the
Yeah.
podcast too. I do
I
that.
do a little, but it's hard when you're doing like when you're editing a 3-hour episode, you know.
Oh
Or
yeah, I understand. I don't. I don't want to. I don't like wasting that much of my audience's time.
yeah, no. Yeah, I'm getting away from that long of content until I think a big problem is having an audience before you do long form content. You know, you want people to actually want to watch you. Okay, so uh, here we go. This is the "I Will Vote for Donald Trump" song. Oh, this is going out of the wrong output for me, and I do not want to fuck up the sound.
Okay, yeah, let's do it right. Let's make that guy who told us we should have paused happy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Yeah, and if you do want to say something, just tell me to pause it
Okay, I
if
will
it's in
do
the
that.
middle of the video. Oh, now it's quiet.
Oh my God, I will vote for Donald Trump. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. The people go out to vote, no fear, no more.
Okay, pause. Okay, pause. I already have a thing that I have to like. The total disrespect for flag code by conservatives is like wildly maddening. It's like you put his name on an American flag. What is wrong with you? Like that is literally like that type of shit is literally against flag code. Like it's also against flag code to wear flags. Like to have
Yeah,
but
I feel
like
like
they
Oh no, go ahead.
But like they get mad by at the very concept that someone might burn a flag, but like any other form of desecration,
Yeah, absolutely.
totally
I
chill.
feel like they're in like a transition stage from like this old school type of patriotism where it was like constitutionalism and stuff to this it's just neo-fascism now, you know. They're trying to it's um there's a word for it, but basically they're just like taking an amalgamation of all of these ideas and putting them together. So the American flag is just one part of the idea, you know. They're not trying to be like
Mhm.
America, they're trying to be like Trump America,
Like
you know.
like this is the type of shit that the Soviets used to do.
Right.
What they were really good at branding their stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Vote for
And
Trump.
that is another thing that should be like pointed out is Trump might be one of the like 3 or 4 American figures that like a headshot is a symbol of his politics, sort of like a socialist figure like Mao or Stalin. You know,
Mhm.
seeing his head
Yeah,
alone
well,
is a
exactly.
symbol of his politics.
Yeah.
If you wanna keep America great, vote for Trump. Let's do it. My vote
Props
for Trump. Come on.
props for using keep instead of make.
I will vote. I will vote. Oh yeah. For Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Oh my God. I will vote. Oh my God. I will vote.
And if you want to tap out of the song at any moment, I'll also allow.
I don't believe in fake news. All I need is the truth. Because we love our country. We love it just like you. Economy.
For Trump.
Life is good.
For Trump.
Because we love our country. We love it just like you.
Oh my God.
Also, it should be said that these are, if these are Puerto Ricans on these boats, these are Puerto Ricans that can afford large boats. Like that last one was like a mini
That's a good
yacht.
point.
Look at this. These aren't the. I don't think these are the type of Puerto Ricans that Tony Hinchcliffe was calling garbage. Maybe he
No,
thinks
no,
all of them are.
these guys all work in the rum industry.
Yeah,
That's
and they are bourgeois. They own the rum industry.
yeah, no, exactly.
Vote. I will vote for Donald Trump.
It's wild.
Oh my God. I will
Like
vote.
right there. Like right there. The chorus is oh my god. Like do you remember in the 90s when Christians used to be like, "Don't say that.
Yeah,
Don't say that."
yeah.
Like they totally have caved on people saying, "Oh my god." If this is if this is functionally successful propaganda.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's like the most in vain you can use the Lord's name. On top of it, it's a very idolatrous song. Like it
Yeah.
is the only way you can describe it is cultish. And I want to make another statement here just about these the collection of various symbols.
Yeah.
Like, look at this. The American flag is
It's
just one
wild.
aspect of this like collage of ideas that they have here. And
Trump's name is up there at least as many times as the American flag is.
yeah. Well, and the blue line flag, and then we have the
Mhm.
I don't know if this is a blue don't tread on me or some type of I don't know what that flag is. But we have this we hate Sleepy Joe.
Mhm.
Here's just a picture of someone's face up here, which I assume is Trump's face. But either way, like it's a whole bunch of
It's all
different like symbols put together.
yeah.
Syncretic.
I know.
That's the word I was thinking of. It's syncretic. Like it's just a
Mhm.
snowball collecting all of the little bits of culture until it creates something. It's literally like it's the American version of like booned fascism, uh,
Mhm.
like Volkish fascism, like believing that all of these German symbols put all them put together is the German culture, you know, and then like displaying those symbols.
This is the kind of stuff that like Grant Morrison and Alan Moore would be saying. According to them, this type of stuff is like black magic. Just the use of symbols to get to like manipulate people in society.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, got 30 seconds left.
I will vote
Okay, it's not a long
for
one.
Donald Trump. I know my God.
Very well.
Yeah, I don't want to like profile people,
don't
but
wanna- I
that
don't wanna
last
play
lady
the
did
colorism.
not look Puerto Rican. I don't know. I don't know if
I mean,
if she.
There are white Hispanic people. There
That
are
is
white
true.
Latino Hispanic
That
people.
is true. That's why I'm saying I don't want to affirmatively say that, but
Mhm.
she looks like an op.
Like, I don't want to play into colorism. But,
Yeah, but
but like she looks like the kind of Puerto Rican who'd vote for Trump.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Right.
She did not look like she wanted to sing that.
She probably didn't know from a golf 20 camera face.
My God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump.
Oh god.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that came out
Wow.
immediately after the comedy segment that we watched. Probably the afternoon of the next day, I think, is when Trump posted that onto his Twitter.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah, at
least it's short.
yeah, I don't know. It feels so long. It feels like a 20-minute song. It feels like um American Pie. That's what it felt like. Um, except the Puerto Rican American Pie. Any other words for that one before we move on?
Oh, it just. You're right, though. It is like the Puerto Rican Yacht Club. Like. And all those people probably work in some type of industry or have money from something. I mean, let's not forget that Puerto Rico is technically part of America. It's not considered a full state or anything, but the people there are technically considered U.S. citizens.
Yeah, can't they? All they have to do is move to a state to vote, but they can't
Yes,
vote in Puerto
they just need
Rico.
to move to a state that has representation.
Yeah.
But they are already technically American citizens, as are most of our protectorates. The only exception being American Samoa, which for some reason they are not American citizens, but they are considered American nationals.
Huh.
Which
I
I think
wonder.
means our laws protect them in some way. Maybe I have to look up what the difference is.
Yeah, I'm sure that. Yeah, it's probably just a few extra hurdles for immigration. As that is a less enthusiastic about Samoans than.
Yeah, no, but
Puerto
I'm
Ricans.
pretty sure we can still go there without a passport.
Okay. Benefits for the mainland people. Um,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, and plus also they get protection by the U.S. military.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're a tiny island that could be taken by anybody at any time. See, sometimes imperialism benefits.
Yeah, it just took a little bit to get there. They just had to put in some elbow grease to get there. By elbow
Yep.
grease, I mean the devastation of whatever people were living there prior to.
Yeah, no, because that is I believe that is why they're an American whatever is because I'm pretty sure at some point someone else was giving them a worse deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe it might have had something to do with World War II. I don't know. I don't know when that happened.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's one thing I have to look up, read more about is American imperialism, specifically in like
mhm.
Pacific Island and
Yeah.
like Asian countries, because I don't know
Mhm.
shit about that. I know a little bit of like South America and Mexico type of relationships, but um, not enough to even like. I can't say anything decisive on that. But I can say that if I was Puerto Rican, I don't think that would have swayed me. But I also don't think I would probably be getting along with the Puerto Ricans in that video either.
I
Uh,
mean, no.
uh, uh,
They look okay.
yeah, they definitely like they had that in the fucking chamber ready to go. They were like that
Like
was quick.
like those were country club Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
You have to think Puerto Ricans come from a country that has its own hierarchy. There's gonna be people who suck from Puerto Rico too.
yeah, yeah.
They, like we said in during the video, these are the bourgeois of the Puerto Rico. Plus, they all probably live in America, anyways.
Well, and I guarantee most of them were just like Floridians, like the whatever
Yeah,
Floridian constituency of Puerto Ricans that Donald Trump has a direct line to, like a like leader. I'm sure that's he just put in a call to a guy and was like, make me a song, make me a piece of propaganda. Do anything for me, and I will make you my cabinet representative.
dude, his cabinet picks are fucking crazy.
They're fucking crazy. I keep I it's so it,
And
it's gonna be a
he's trying
fun thing to do. We're gonna
trying to
do like a lightning.
he's trying to prematurely replace the head of the FBI.
Yeah,
Fucking crazy.
yeah.
And
It's so wild.
he gave that guy that job.
It's just such a
He's
without
trying to
getting too
replace
much
him.
into the cabinet thing. I just like the Republicans know how to wield power in a way that Democrats just are incapable of doing every time. Like at least Biden could have got out Louis DeJoy or something, but I feel like Biden it or any Democrat in the position, they just are not aggressive about getting their guys in there and getting the guys who are obstructionists out. Just like period. They don't give a fuck about that.
I will say, I think Biden is going through a bit of a, well, you know what, fuck you guys anyways type of vibe
Oh yeah,
since
did you see
he
his
pardoned
statement?
his son.
Yeah. His statement almost translated directly. I put this in Google. It translated if you go from English to street talk, it's just fuck you, Jack. That's all the whole thing means. If you translate his statement. And I actually have a clip of related to that. It's not
What?
of Biden himself, but it is of the uh, press secretary and how many times she has said on behalf of Biden that he would not pardon his son. What do you got to say?
Here's the thing you got to think. Here's the thing you got to think is that Biden either loves America so much or hates Donald Trump so much that he was willing to like either pretend not to pardon his son or to actually not pardon his son in order to help the Democratic Party win. But
Yeah,
the second Donald Trump won, he was like, you know what? Fuck this.
yeah.
I
I
just
honestly, I think he would have
honestly I was
still pardoned him after winning the election. I think it was purely like a cynical election ploy. What were you gonna say?
it's honestly I'm glad he pardoned him now.
Yeah, yeah.
Now
Honest, like
it
I
was
don't
it was
really care.
political.
Like my position is I don't care, and it really just it's a good example to point to for which I don't think this is a good thing, but it's a good example for dissidents of the Democrats to point to be like they're lying hypocrites. I don't really like. I think that they shouldn't. He shouldn't have ever said, "I won't pardon my son," because no Republican would have ever said, "I won't pardon my son." Like they would have never done that. He didn't need to put that on the table. Like there's like a whole idea of like starting your bet low. Like don't start at your highest point with no bargaining power, which is, "I won't do this. Nobody is above the law." And then like at that point, if you do it, all of your other excuses fail to like really hit people because they're already like, oh, you fucking you're on some bullshit. I know it. I could tell.
I mean, the thing is, though, is that like a certain amount of like the political toxicity breaks down to the fact that there is no incentive for, on a certain level, there is no incentive for Democrats to hold back sometimes, because at the same time, like Republicans are always going to give a bad faith interpretation to whatever Democrats are doing. So there's
Yeah.
almost no point in behaving sometimes.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, I do believe in a basic line of decency, but like if they're gonna call you a socialist when you're not a socialist, like what are you even gonna do? Like they don't care about the truth. They don't
yeah,
care about standards.
there was even the segment on a Fox show a segment I saw earlier of them. They were basically like, yeah, this is totally what I would have done. Like who wouldn't pardon their son? The funny thing is that he said he wouldn't, and it was just a good way for the Republicans to come at him as a hypocrite. Uh, but
Yeah.
I do think it is kind of funny how much they said they wouldn't do it. And here's a little. This is by the Associated Press. It's a little cut together clip of how many times they said that um, they wouldn't pardon Biden. I just gotta find it.
Basically, it's like why use multiple chargers when one.
I'll just play it from. No. Well, I guess I could just cut out. No, I don't.
From a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up?
Okay, here we go. This is gonna be fun. And we're gonna talk a little bit about Katrine Jean-Pierre because she is just done with her job at this point. She is exhausted. You know the what's it called, the press secretary or whatever. Um, she is
I'm
tired.
terrible. I'm terrible keeping track of press secretaries.
Yeah, well,
I am
she's been
excited.
the one throughout. At least I think she's been the one throughout this whole genocide period. Because beforehand it was Jin Saki, right? I don't know.
No,
She's the
I
only
don't.
one I really paid attention to because I'm honestly I didn't know that they talked to the press all the time a few years ago. I'm still learning.
I
Uh,
want to pretend like I'm cool and say something like, "I don't listen to mouthpieces for the man," but the truth is that I don't know. I just don't pay attention that much to the government's own statements.
yeah, well, they're usually not worth much, but we're gonna check it out.
From a presidential
Okay.
perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
Did I accidentally segue into the actual next segment?
Yeah, you did. It was perfect. That's why I grabbed onto it when I
I
could.
just said no. I just
Nice.
answered. Go ahead.
Why doesn't President Biden just pardon him?
President, I've been very clear. The president's not going to pardon
And
his
one
son.
more.
It's still a no. It's still a
It
no.
will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No. The president, I could speak for the president, and he said he would not pardon his son, and I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay. So there's no denying that they lied about that. But what's more important than them lying and being hypocrites, because everybody knows that like mainstream Democrats are hypocrites and liars. Like that's not new news to everybody. The funny part is that this whole thing about Trump getting prosecuted, every single one of the Democrat establishment talking points is out the window when he does this. Like and it's like you were saying, it's he was very much showing to the country that he was willing not to pardon his son for the sake of the country, because there was like a point of time where that would have had ramifications for more of the Democrat Party than just himself. But now that it's not a problem, it's not a problem, and I think he
Because
would have just done it and taken the backlash anyway beforehand too.
I mean, the only thing is that they were afraid the Republicans would just try and use it as more evidence of like corruption against them, even
Yeah.
though that's not really what it is. Like, it's not really corruption. Like, you're not really breaking the law if what you're doing is technically legal.
Mhm. Yeah. I think it's corruption, but I think the idea of corruption being like this gotcha for a politician in modern America is ridiculous. They're all very like we've legalized corruption to the point where they can all be openly corrupt and it's
I
not
mean,
illegal or against the rules to do so. And I think that they're like varyingly corrupt. Like Democrats are institutionalists, so they're not going to do a lot of things that would like buck social norms, but they're they're still taking like um uh money from like donors and Trump himself he took a whole bunch from Mary Adelson but for like Israel, but at the same time a lot of Democrats take money from APAC to get rid of like pro-Palestinian representatives. So it's like they're all guilty of corruption to some degree. I just think it's especially funny watching them get annoyed and be like, we're not doing this. It's not happening. Leave us alone about this. And it's sort of it feels like all of the other statements I've been seeing the last year about especially from um is it Blinken? It's one of those guys. They come out. It's the guy that comes out and denies the Gaza genocide. That's like his job. And every time he comes out, he like says the exact same thing, and it feels exactly like this. And it's like it's funny how like inconsequential one is to the other, but it's the exact same dynamic and it's the exact same like stubborn headedness like on their end. They didn't have to say they wouldn't do that. They literally did not have to say it. Like they don't say that they will pardon him, but also say you won't. Like also don't say you won't, you know? Um what else do you got about for that one before we move on?
no, I'm ready for the clip.
Okay.
I'm ready for the clip. Let's see what's got. See what this is.
Okay. So this is the same press secretary. This is Katrine Jean-Pierre. Um, this is her getting irritated post-election with a reporter. It looks like one of the same reporters that was annoying her in the last clip, but like she gets pissed real quick in this one. I named it Awkward Dinner. Here it is.
We know that today. We know that today, a week after the election, President Biden and Vice President Harris had a private lunch. How awkward was that?
I don't even understand. Why would it be awkward?
Because
Why would it
the president
be,
got squeezed out for her, and then she kept him at arm's length, and then she lost, and now she's back.
why would you characterize it as awkward? They have regular lunches. They meet and talk regularly. Why would you
So there's
call it
no
awkward?
weirdness about the way that things have unfolded since
Did you
July
see them?
21st.
Did you see them together yesterday as well when they honored our veterans and were together during the day, making sure that we didn't forget the brave men and women that fought for this country? Did you see them together yesterday? Did you see
Forgot I had to hit an extra
show
button.
of force together? This is like. I'm not even
Well,
going to
did you miss the beginning? I can replay it. I don't mind
What I
editing.
will say is.
Yeah, go back.
Yeah.
We know that today, a week after the election, President Biden and Vice President Harris had a private lunch. How awkward was that?
I don't even understand. Why would it be awkward?
Because
Why would it
the president
be-
got
why would-
squeezed out
why
for
would
her,
you-
and then she kept him at arm's length, and then she lost, and now she's back.
Why would you characterize it as awkward? They have regular lunches. They meet and talk regularly. Why
Like,
would you?
okay, wait,
call it
stop.
awkward?
Stop.
Weirdness about the way that
What the fuck is reporting? Like what? What the fuck was that question?
I love how both the question and the response are unhinged.
Like what? Like are we writing for a middle school newspaper? Like
What
are
about
we
the weirdness? Was there weirdness after the thing?
what do you Like, and if there was, who cares? Like,
Yeah,
what did they get done?
but she
What
gets
was the
so mad. She gets so pissed off. She could
okay?
literally just be like, "No, it wasn't awkward. Next question." But she's like, you're really fucking going there? You really fucking went there with me, man? Fuck you."
I mean, it's very loaded language for a press question.
Yeah, it is.
Like, he,
And she's hit with a lot of them, but honestly, just she's earned it. And she's a pro. She knows how to fight them back.
all right, show me on her unhinged response.
Did you see them together yesterday as well when they honored our veterans and were together during the day, making sure that we didn't forget the brave men and women that fought for this country? Did you see them together yesterday? Did you see the show of force together? This is like, I'm not even going to take the premise of the question. What I will say is the president and the vice president had lunch today. They've had lunch many times. They have, they communicate with each other regularly. They had an opportunity to discuss the last 70 days or so of this administration, how important it is to get things done for the American people. And that's their focus. That is genuinely their focus.
So saves it towards the end because you can tell that she decided to actually answer it afterwards. But she chastised him, and then she said some really weird stuff about the military, and then she answered the question in like how you would expect it to get answered. Um,
No, I gotta be honest. I can't blame her. I can't blame her. I would be very tempted to say something ridiculous to that man too. I would be, but then again, to be fair, I'm a comedian, so I would probably just like, I would probably just tear into him because I thought it would be funny, and maybe that's not the best attitude for a press secretary.
Honestly, I think the press secretaries can use a little bit of humor in their lives.
True.
They're
Like,
stiff. But yeah, I think it was reasonable to be like off put by the question because it was a weird question. But
like it sound like the mentality of the question just bothers me because it's like, like, do we really care about that level of their emotional state? Do we really
I
like?
think
Does it matter?
I think it is interesting to ask that because I think a lot of people do care, but I don't think they should. But I think a
Like,
lot of people would have clicked on the article to know whether or not the breakfast was awkward or lunch was
like,
awkward.
here's the thing: is that sounds like an SNL skit. The question sounds like an SNL skit. Like, you got the two actors out there. One of them, the Kamala actor, and then you have the Biden actor, and like they're just being awkward and trying to have a conversation, and they'll make references to the thing, and then like if. And then at the end, Kamala will stand up and be like, "Live from New York, it's Saturday night," and
Yeah,
it's that's what that question sounds like.
what it felt like.
It's like, are you from The Onion, sir?
I I do wonder who that guy is because
They're
he
not
was in the
say.
last thing and it
Are all of his
um
questions dumb?
are all of his questions. Well, he asked about the pardon and he was in the last video asking about the pardon. So I mean, whether he's a sensationalist might be one thing, but
Yeah.
he's
He's
obvious
a,
out there asking some questions that probably should be answered. But honestly, like it sucks because that guy probably is a right wing journalist because it's rare that I recognize all the left wing journalists first of all, but it's also rare that they would ask something that fucking stupid, and most of them are focused on the war in Gaza right now. But with that, like the pardon question was an implicit attack on Democrats'
Mhm.
credibility.
Oh,
But
now I'm curious how he worded it.
it's like I sometimes it's like you know they should be You know, it's really exhausting that the left wing party in America is a right wing party that acts like they're left wing, and in doing so, it feels like it's constant, like they agree with each other, but one of them acts like they're better than the other one, and it makes a lot of people think like both parties are the same, and it's incredibly frustrating to me.
Yeah, it's. Have you ever gone to that website where you can look up how people voted on like actual bills and what the bills are? I forget what it's called, but it's absolutely worth going to. Like, I don't think the average American really understands like what goes into legislating.
Yeah.
Like, I get the distinct impression that a lot of people don't really understand what it means or how it's written or how they do any of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I
And
don't
they
think
don't.
so.
And like, yeah. So it's very easy for politicians to just say whatever they want.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what won Trump this election is he threw so much stuff out there that wasn't combated quick enough that like the whole narrative was dominated by the right in this election. Like it was all like every play that Democrats made was defensive. Um and not only was it defensive, but it was like there were so many moments where the Dems were made to look bad, and incompetent bad, not like immoral bad. Uh,
Although
and yeah,
they try really hard to hit that one.
yeah, I would say they hit both, but they managed. I mean, the media stuff around like Gaza, it's still like ever the ICC, the criminal court that decides whether people are international criminals, decided that they're international criminals, and us as a culture still haven't caught up with that. So they're protected when it comes to like their moral decisions, but when they look incompetent, then it's like why would they why would anybody want to vote or put their trust in someone who they deem incompetent? At least like it's like having a boss who's bad at their job versus having a mean boss. Which one would you rather have? It's like a lot of people would choose the mean boss. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't. I would rather have an incompetent boss because you can take advantage of them. Um, be- Before we go on to the
No,
next,
yeah, no. It's who would you rather work for? Michael Scott or
or fucking uh,
yeah,
Ron
who's a
from Parks and Rec.
actually I'd love to work for Ron from Parks and Rec. He'll let you do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
a
Uh,
mean boss would who's a
uh,
mean boss? Oh, like Scrooge. Like
yeah,
Scrooge.
Scrooge. Scrooge. I forgot
Ebenezer
about
Scrooge.
Scrooge.
The Christmas
Yeah,
Carol.
yeah,
Would you rather work for him or Michael Scott?
yeah. I think a lot
Michael
of people would
Scott's not
just,
gonna make you cold. He
yeah,
cares too much about your opinion.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get more coffee real quick, and then we'll do the
Okay.
next clip afterwards. I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Mm.
Oh, I watched Borderlands.
Oh, was it as bad as everyone said? Did it have some good camp in it?
Actually, actually, it sucks. It's like it's just flat as hell. Like nothing lands. Like there's so much that you can see it try. Like there's so many moments where you can see it trying and it just not working. Like it's lit and it just it feels bland. Like a lot of people like it's trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's way more Suicide Squad. Except Suicide Squad looks really good by comparison to it.
Okay.
Because Suicide Squad at least has elements that work. Even
Yeah,
though it's a
everybody thought it was
messy
going to be a good movie before it came out.
even though it's a messy, chopped up it's one of the most messy, ridiculous instances of like a studio interfering with a film and trying to make it a completely different film. It still has more redeeming qualities than Borderlands.
That's rough. That's a rough review.
Yes. Like almost every aspect. Even editing, which is easily the worst part of Suicide Squad, is better than in Borderlands.
Um,
And Borderlands just looks like shit too. Like it is non-stop some of the worst CGI I've seen this year.
what we need to do is you need to cut your own segment where you agree with everyone on Borderlands, so they stop calling you a contrarian over your
I
Joker
actually might
take.
have to.
um,
Borderlands. Truly, it does
I love
suck.
watching films that are like critically panned. Like I love watching movies like that. And I usually um agree with people's opinions. Although every review I read of Zardoz I think is wrong. They just didn't get the film.
I'll have to look up Zardoz now. But yeah, like every time everything Borderland tries to like throughout the film I was just like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, and it's not working. I can see what you're trying to do. And it's just not, the humor doesn't land, the characters don't connect properly. It never has that Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, and it's not even as funny and the action's not as good as Suicide Squad.
Mm.
And the characters in Suicide Squad are more interesting.
Oh, that's rough. That is. Although I will say that that was probably that film's biggest strength, even though it wasn't that big of a strength. You know, is
Mm.
the character design on some level was uniquely
Mhm.
interesting to that film, and I think you could say that confidently and it be a positive. But I think that
Yeah.
that's probably all the film has going for itself. I watched
I
the second Suicide Squad movie and I was blown away by how much better it was. It was remarkable.
I mean it's a more cohesive film.
Yeah.
Um
And even
I
scene by
would love
scene and interactively, it's better. Like every tense moment is tense instead of like boring, and it's just yeah.
I I will say that I probably am the best case scenario audience for the first Suicide Squad film because I was very invested in the comic books. I have a lot of I have a very solid collection of Suicide Squad comic books before the movie even came out. So I was like, so for me, a lot of the stuff that they did actually really worked. Specifically, the characters, they did a really good job with the characters in the first movie. But when I found out what happened to the film, it like actually kind of blew my mind. Did I tell you the story of what happened to Suicide Squad?
No.
It's fascinating. Um, Essentially, um, David Ayers doesn't make comedies. He's never made comedies. He makes like mostly crime dramas. And so his idea for the film was to do like a very serious, gritty character piece on these like supervillain criminals. And after Batman v Superman got terrible reviews, Warner Brothers like went into panic mode, and they came back to David Ayers and they're like, "We want you to make it like Deadpool." And he was like, "What?" And they're like, "We want this to be like DC's Deadpool." So they did a bunch of rewrites to make the movie funny, and they had and they like did a bunch of weird edits to make it like more quirky and colorful. Um,
Okay.
and then essentially they made two edits of the film, one of which was a drama that was closer to David Ayer's version, and they made one that was essentially more of a comedy that was made by this trailer company who made movie trailers. And according to producer Charles Roven, both films got screened for test audiences, both versions, and they came back with roughly the same scores essentially from the audiences. They both scored like positive but not great. So Charles Roven was like, instead of like flipping a coin, which apparently would have been a better choice, he was like, you know what? Let's just combine both these cuts of the movie into one.
What the
And that's
fuck?
what they did.
What the
That's
fuck?
what they did. That is according to producer of the film Charles Roven. That is what they did.
That's hard to.
Insane.
Yeah, that's actually like that's that makes one of the other guests I had on the podcast, Bjorn Does Movies. He has a theory about Madam Web, about how he
Mhm.
thinks it was completely remade from like recut from the bottom up in ADR to like change the entire film. And I believe that a lot more now that hearing that story, because that's like Frankensteining a movie. You're like
Mhm.
it would have honestly, like you said, flipping the coin and going with either cut would have been better because you can't really. That explains why the movie was so like impossible to
It's
like how like the tone is
like it's got a
inconsistent.
weird, like it has a weird narrative structure, and then like essentially like the second half of the film is just like it's like Lord of the Rings. It's just people walking from one place to another.
Yeah, that that kind of messes with my head pretty bad. Um,
Yeah, no. There's a reason I'm always down to see somebody's director's cut.
yeah,
Although to be fair, sometimes director's cuts are not that much better.
yeah.
Like I saw the director's cut of Elektra.
I watched the it's called the Rogue Cut of X-Men Days of Future Past. And I watched
I
that and I
got
was
that
like,
on
there's no
Blu-ray.
way to watch this without this extra content. I was like, I'm not watching the normal one now. I loved it. Like I was like, this film wouldn't be the same if I took out any part of it. Um,
I have that on Blu-ray.
that's I've been watching the X-Men movies, and that's the one of the second like group of movies that I think is like really fucking good. And then I got halfway through Apocalypse and I'm like, oh, this is rough. But it's not as bad as First Class. First Class was insane. Like I don't understand how that was made. Like
You
it
don't
was
like
wild.
First Class?
I don't understand it. I it felt like a budget studio made it. Like it felt like it was made like by like it was a fan film almost. I don't know. There was something about it. Because I was watching them sequentially. Like so I watched one, two, three. Uh, Started X-Men Origins Wolverine, and I was like, oh, this is like a different Wolverine. So I skipped it. I'm gonna rewatch it later, and went to First Class. And watching First Class, I was like, this is like a it's like such a discernible quality drop between three to First Class that it felt like in the 90s when they would do a sequel to a movie and they would give it to a completely different director and he would just
I
like
mean, it is technically
it is a
technically,
different director, but
all three of those are completely different directors.
yeah, they are, but the quality of like the production went down in my opinion. And then by the like they're doing
I'll
like
have to watch it again.
yeah, it's
I'm a
like
big fan of
childish
First Class.
one-liners like in First Class. Like I think I don't know. Maybe it was because they're trying to go for more like oh, this is like what the character's saying on the comic page or something. But like there's too many
I
times
mean,
where they
Matthew
say
Vaughn
something
is
and I'm
just
like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why they're like monologuing to themselves? And the next movie doesn't have that problem. Days of Future Class is like I think it's like Days of Future Past is like three times
Days
as
of
good.
Future Past is one of my favorite X-Men movies,
Yeah.
easily.
Oh, it was.
I think that one's really great.
I think I would probably say one, Days of Future Past, two, three, and then just the other ones. And then if you count,
Really,
I
you like the first X-Men movie that much?
yeah, I really liked it.
Wow.
I thought it was well done.
I mean,
Um,
I need to watch the X-Men movies again. I'm a big fan of the X-Men movies. I even like a lot of the ones that some people don't like. Um, my least favorite though is probably Wolverine Origins. It's just
yeah, I watched just the beginning and I was like, what is this type of backstory? He had a fine backstory, a cinematic
the
universe
movie.
backstory. Like,
The movie is that movie is frustrating because like it's almost like it's trying to be the Forrest Gump of X-Men. But at the same time, like the thing is that that movie is like five different Wolverine movies like shoved into one movie. Like almost any one part of that movie could have been like a relatively decent movie of its own. Like, yeah, let's see him back in the old timey days dealing with his brother Sabretooth.
yeah,
Or let's see a movie where he's in all of those wars. Or 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 let's see
yeah,
like at any moment they could have just stopped and focused on one of these things and it could have been a decent movie.
yeah.
But they would just keep going from one idea to the next, and then at the end it just gets to this thing where it's like surprise. Oh, you haven't finished this one. Never mind.
Yeah,
It
don't
sucks.
spoil the very ending, but I'm sure it'll suck. I think one thing I could say about that movie is it was alarming how well shot it was, and then I was like, wait, this is like bad like storytelling. Like, why why is the more compelling character the one who like murders his dad in the first 3 minutes of the film? And I'm supposed it's like a don't kill the cat
Liv,
situation in the first 2 minutes of the goddamn movie. And it,
Liev Schreiber is the best part of that movie, though.
who is that?
Liev Schreiber is the guy who plays Sabretooth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see much of that him because I got to the scene with Ryan Reynolds doing Deadpool without the mask
Oh,
and that shit was cool.
I mean,
He was cutting the bullets.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, wow, this is well done. And then I was like, I stopped watching it. But the very beginning, I was exhausted by because of the Wolverine thing. And then his like
This
how he like had metal claws, but then his brother has long fingernails, and I was like, you're already losing me here. Like uh their mutations are completely different. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that with like how like is that like the furthest from the comics? Like or where's what's his backstory in the comics? Was he given the
so
adamantium skeleton
so
or
the beginning of the beginning of the movie kind so they get the time period a little bit wrong because he wasn't actually old enough to have fought in the Civil War. Plus he lived in Canada. But um technically that is roughly the time period of when he was a child, and there is and it does basically begin with the guy like this the a guy who works for them does kill his father and mother, and he does kill that guy. Um, but like only a little bit of his bone claws come out as a child because he doesn't know what he's doing. So that is relatively accurate. His brother is not actually Sabretooth in the comics, but if I'm being completely honest, making his brother Sabretooth is actually a better idea than what they do in the comics. Uh, but but uh, But yeah, like that stuff's relatively accurate. He does end up in a government mutant program for the military called Weapon X. They do infuse his body with adamantium, giving him the metal claws.
Okay.
Those are roughly Sabretooth's powers. Sabretooth basically has the same powers as Wolverine, but he doesn't have the bone claws. Um, and he's a little bit bigger and stronger.
So so with do his fingernails grow?
I would actually have to look into that. I want to say yes, but I could be wrong on that one.
That's exhausting if it does. The finger make them just strong fingernails. Don't make them grow. That's weird. Where are they going to retract? Where do they go when they retract? Their
They
fingernails.
probably break off.
Right. And then they grow back and they're smaller again until he gets into battle. Um, oh, does he have regenerative powers like Wolverine does?
Yes, he
Okay.
does. That is something that Sabretooth has.
How come spoiler for Deadpool 2 for anybody listening, the first 5 minutes of it, but how come he kills him so easily in Deadpool 2 then? Is he just not regenerative in that one?
Well,
No, Deadpool 3. I
I
mean Deadpool and Wolverine, not 2.
yeah, well, I mean, he decapitates him. So
And that just does
most
it?
people agree that that can kill a regenerative
Would that kill
character.
Wolverine? Then we'll move on.
Um, Hypothetically, although Wolverine has regenerated some ridiculous things from some ridiculous stuff.
Because that doesn't kill
Um,
Deadpool, right? His
Deadpool
regeneration.
has put his own head back on. This is a good question. These are good questions. Um, they were never. Fox was the X-Men universe was never great at
Yeah, right.
tracking their powers very well. Uh,
I mean, they're
Also, I
handed
think
off
a
more
lot of
often
people,
than the directors are, right?
yeah, I'm kind of sad Liv Schreiber wasn't there. But
Yeah, you want it to be the same
but I
actor?
yeah, but I had a lot of fun with Deadpool and Wolverine. They
Yeah.
did bring back they brought back the original Sabretooth actor from the first movie.
Yeah, that's what I noticed watching the first movie. I was like, yeah, that's cool. The whole film was really good. I liked 3. I think um the biggest critique of it you could have is just being tired of meta commentary and then adding time travel and multiverses on top of meta commentary is like it's like the most exhausting way you can be meta. So I could totally see why people could like watch the first 5 minutes of that movie and be like, I'm not doing this. I'm not watching Deadpool go from alternate Wolverine land to different Wolverines to talk to Wolverine. I'm not doing it. I'm out. But I was excited. I was excited the second he was tearing apart that skeleton, and I knew that the Wolverine from the trailers wasn't the one in the Logan.
I will say, like, the opening goes hard. The
Yeah,
opening in Deadpool and Wolverine goes hard. I will say that I do think that it didn't quite have the same bite as maybe the other Deadpool movies, but the opening it no, that's not fair. What I will say is that the movie never goes quite as hard as that opening goes again.
yeah,
Like the
that's
opening
true.
goes hard. Maybe the Johnny Storm stuff that goes pretty hard.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
I
think
know the Johnny Storm stuff goes pretty hard too.
yeah, I think the ending uh for everybody interested in knowing the ending of this film, um, where they're connected and they're tearing apart as they're healing. I thought that was cool. But
Oh yeah, no, that was badass. That was
so
badass.
since we last talked, Trump won the election. Um, I think
Yep.
you know, I have a feeling neither of us were very surprised by that, although we were both hoping for the other thing to happen.
I was hopeful, but yeah, no, I wasn't shocked
Yeah.
at all.
And uh, Biden doesn't seem shocked either. He gave it off pretty handily in this video we're gonna look at next. And it's very reminiscent of a child and Santa Claus talking together. Um, Guess who's who?
Well,
Who? Biden
I would
Santa.
I would guess that Biden would be Santa Claus.
Okay.
Well, Mr. President,
Oh, do you gotta click something? I'm sharing it
I
now.
clicked it.
Okay.
It's up now.
and the former president, thank you, Donald,
A little quiet.
congratulations. Thank you. And
As loud
look
as I
forward
can
to
get.
having
He's just a quiet
like we
guy.
said, smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're gonna
Here,
get a chance to
all
talk
he said, the former president and the president-elect, and then he said, I bet
I
you.
heard the part about
Looking forward to
accommodate.
having like we said, smooth transition.
We're gonna have a
Everything we
smooth
can to
transition.
make sure you're accommodated, what you need.
Yeah, I heard that.
We're gonna get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
Good.
We're gonna talk about that.
Thank you very much, and
Welcome
thank you
back.
very much. And politics is tough, and it's many cases
Oh, I
not a
think
very
the sound
nice
is actually
world.
getting louder.
It is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
you're welcome. Thank you all.
Trump says things that don't mean anything.
Yeah, I want to watch that one more time.
Well,
'Cause
Mr.
that was
President,
really his response was really good. I should have
Like,
just not closed
it's
it.
just
Okay.
nonsense.
So, and this video is just it's gonna be like if civics classes exist 40 years from now, people are gonna be watching this like about like the pre-modern rise of fascism in America in their civics classrooms. And it'll be like this is the moment where Biden handed it off to Trump, and you get a little moment where you see both of their personalities over the past year just like on display completely.
well, Mr. President, elect and
What? Okay.
Donald,
What is it talking about?
and
Sorry, Discord thought I was having mic problems for some reason,
No.
smooth transition.
but it seems to be working.
Can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're gonna get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
Good.
welcome.
Thank you
Welcome back.
very much, and thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Nothing. It
Yeah.
means nothing. Smooth as it can get.
We're
Jesus
gonna have
Christ.
a transition that's so smooth, it's smooth and buttery, like the smoothest transition you've ever
Like a
seen.
smooth criminal. The smoothest. Be so smooth, you'll ask, is Annie okay?
They call me a criminal. I'm only a smooth criminal.
That might say the smoothest. Smooth like the skin of a baby's bottom. Not that I've ever touched a baby's bottom on Jeffrey Epstein's island.
They're disgusting. They just disgust me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't like
But
babies.
um, I- I think that he really nailed that response. Honestly. That's the one thing that we can all look forward to is uh laughing at the person who is in charge of your country for doing like the most ridiculous gaffes you've ever seen. Um, this is a time-honored tradition from Republicans at this point. We've had all of our Bushes and um, um, our Trumps at this point, and it laughing during a time of Republican rule is one of the few things we have, um, and it's at least we have that. Although it is, I don't know if it's almost like having an incompetent boss again. Do we like it's like this guy is um um got
I
some
mean, the
what
problem is that he's an incompetent asshole.
yeah,
He's like
he's
he's
both.
Scrooge. He's Scrooge and he's Michael Scott. He's both of them. He's like if Michael Scott was terrible, but not in the incompetent way that he always is, but terrible in the he's cruel and unusual to you. And he doesn't care about anything that it doesn't and he doesn't care about any rational idea that you might come to him with.
Yeah.
And instead of that need to please you, he's got a need to dominate you.
Um and he's like humiliating Biden in that moment. He is intentionally like uh like being like sorry you lost. Like that's his first line is politics are tough, I know. Like it's like he just got something in even at the last minute under the wire. He still gets in a little shot at Biden who is too he's just it's like it's not necessarily because he's old, but he's too mentally he's not quick enough to even like interact with someone even on Trump's level. Like Trump isn't even that quick compared to a few years ago, but they've all aged so much and they're like Biden actually has like shit going on to where he's like not as sharp as like even someone his own age is. Like and so like
I mean, like I'm not. I do think that there is some. I think our attitude towards Biden's mental state, I think, is a little overblown. But yeah, no, he is old as hell.
yeah,
He has definitely slowed down.
I think it's overblown in the sense that, you know, the people on the farthest end are saying that he is being carted around and that he's just being like controlled by his aides. But I do think
Mhm.
he's he
He
is
is old.
on his way. He's like on his way out, like he's sundowning. But that doesn't mean that he's incapable of doing things like he's like literally being but I mean the argument that they're being carted around isn't even rare. Mitch McConnell literally has been carted around the past couple years because he keeps having strokes in the
True.
fucking in the Senate building, and then um, Feinstein was being literally carted around in a wheelchair until the day she died. She said she would run for re-election and died a week later. So, like, it's
In
overblown by
fairness,
the opponents, but also
in fairness, she wasn't. Her problem wasn't mental decline.
yeah, that's true. It was that she was deteriorating into a skeleton in front of everybody's eyes.
Yeah.
Um,
Mitch McConnell, though, literally just clicking on and off in the middle of important public moments.
yeah, and yeah. So it's an argument that someone might be right on, but it's not
No,
it's like the
someone hit
corruption
the
argument.
crack.
They're all old and dying of dementia. Like
Yeah, we probably should make some rules about maximum ages to hold
yeah,
office.
yeah. Um
Like most people their age are retired.
yeah, I would be like frustrated with like any family member who is 70 years old and still trying to work. Yeah, I would be like, you are well past retirement age. You could take your full benefits. Take them, please. I'd be begging them every day.
Like like
Um,
like I'm not opposed to a retired person having like a part-time job to get them out of the house. But you shouldn't be the manager somewhere.
yeah, I, I think, um,
You should work for fun, not money at this point.
yeah,
Which is not to say they shouldn't be compensated, because they should be compensated.
they should be compensated. And they should also not be have their disability taken away for having too many resources. That's a big problem with
Exactly.
seniors. I'm trying to think of like which one would be the next better one to go for. Uh, let's just do a hard 90-degree turn.
Hitler was right about y'all niggas.
Okay.
Because the reality is
So we had Tony Hinchcliffe say slurs last time, so you're not unfamiliar with my game here. I'm about to show you a video containing a person saying slurs. Um, this is Mirren Gaines of the Fresh and Fit podcast. You might have heard of them.
Okay.
Um,
I'm familiar with this type of tasty trash.
So they usually are doing
Well,
like
these-
alpha male type of what's it
Oh
called?
yeah.
There's
Let's see what these fucking maniacs are up to.
yeah. Well, he turned it up another notch lately.
Oh yeah, are they going anti-Semitic? Is that what we're watching?
I think you have good intuition.
What? I was joking around.
Hitler was right about y'all niggas. Because the reality is this, you fucking faggots. You guys come into a country, you push your pornography, you push your fucking central banking, you push your degeneracy, you push the LGBT community, you push all this fucking bullshit into a society, you destroy it from within, and then you guys go ahead, and then you band together, you practice nepotism, you keep each other at the highest levels of echelons of government and everything else, you protect your fucking selves because you silence free speech, you silence anything that criticizes you, and then you get rid of them, and then you go and use stupid terms, fake terms, like anti-Semitism, when half you motherfuckers aren't even really Semites. I'm the Semite. I'm the fucking real Arab here. You motherfucker Ashkenazi Jews, you assholes are European. Trying to sit there and say that you're fucking, we're Semites. No, you're not. You're fucking not. You fucking lying fucks. And if we fucking say the truth that these dreidel spinning, yarmulke wearing, kibbutz inhabiting, genocidal fucks with their stupid curly little fucking sideburns, if we say the fucking truth about them, they ban us everywhere. These evil fucking dickheads. Fuck Zionists, man. Fucking faggots.
And then he has to say Zionists.
Whoa!
Yeah. But
Whoa!
and it's at the very beginning of the clip, and you don't like. It's like he says it real fast, but he says Hitler was right. That's like the very beginning of his statement, and then he goes on to describe all of that. So that was sort of, I think it's proof that these guys were just waiting to be fucking Nazis the whole time. Really, like honestly,
Gee, like that was out of control.
that was like a
Like
Nick
that-
Fuentes level rant.
No, Nick Fuentes
Would
Nick
have more
Fuentes-
tact, right?
Nick Fuentes would use a metaphor or tell a stupid or try to make it sound like a joke, because Nick Fuentes knows how to dog whistle and knows how to be a slippery little fuck.
Yeah, that's
like-
a good point.
It is clear that that's Myron, right?
Yeah,
That's Myron.
yeah.
Like, it's clear that Myron, like, it's clear why Myron gives himself a pseudonym. But Myron, wow, you just out here throwing it out there. Like, you just took that's like whipping your dick out in the middle of the Cracker Barrel, son. Like wow. That, like, here's the other thing too, is that, like, if you really examine like all the weird accusations that people make against the Jews, like, every single one of those accusations just breaks down to doing capitalism.
Yeah.
Like, every single one of those terrible things that he describes, that he accused, with the weird exception of the homophobic bit, like,
Yeah.
I don't, like, capitalism doesn't inject homosexuality into the society. Although capitalism believes that there is money to be made in propping up homosexuality via rainbow capitalism, markets will absolutely provide gay content.
Well, and you know what they
whatnot.
say, Nazism is the dumb man's socialism,
Yeah, I mean, that's true, especially since everything that Hitler said about socialism was pretty. Hitler, Hitler literally described their form of socialism as a taking back the word socialism
Yeah.
from socialism. Like
He
he
pretty explicitly
completely
hated
separated.
socialists.
Oh yeah, no, he loathed socialists, and to him, socialism and Judaism were basically the same thing. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah,
That's why it's what's it called? Cultural Marxism was the
which is
original.
bullshit.
Yeah, it was the original like Nazi like term for that, and then it's still used by Nazis today as like a dog whistle because it's like
Yeah, and Jordan Peterson.
yeah, exactly.
Jordan
Same
Peterson
same.
loves that shit.
These are the same picture.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, and I think it's really interesting that the pornography thing has become part of the anti-Semitic like Nazi myth in America, and it's like it 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 so perfectly becomes a segue from like that manosphere stuff to fascism. And it's like it's perfectly designed in that way, like almost like when someone comes up and says your weird show where you like yell about like misogynistic ideas is fascist. It's almost like that isn't just an exaggeration or like an insult, but like an actual a pretty accurate description of their politics. I mean, fucking you don't know that kind of stuff like in sequence unless you've been fucking reading like Nazi shit. Like you're on like blogs doing that shit. You're hanging out on Stormfront.
Yeah, no, there's lots of black Nazis nowadays. It's wild.
Yeah, there's a whole problem going on with like the the like
Oh, and he was
physical fitness right wing manosphere people being able to leverage that against like young people, you know.
oh, and he was talking he was saying some hotep shit in there too
Yeah.
about how he was the real Semite, which being black does not automatically make you a Semite.
Yeah, yeah, it's like Lost Tribes of Israel stuff. And
Yeah, I mean there is technically like the area that would be considered Semitic does encompass like parts of northern Africa, but
yeah.
like
Well, and even if he's Arabic, the it's like it's a um which it's a very common conspiracy theorist like tactic to like find like a phrase and like break down the phrase to try to create like some uh like actual substantial point out of it when it's just sort of doing word games.
mhm.
Anti-Semitism means that you're like means what you're saying. It doesn't mean like you don't like Arabs or you don't like people who have Semitic DNA or even speak a Semitic language. Nobody's talking about the Akkadians when we're talking about anti-Semitism. We're talking about fucking literal like Nazi shit. Like it's just another word for Nazi shit. Like
Mhm.
unless you're the APAC or ADL, and then it's also a word for pro-Palestine protesters.
Although technically I think Palestinians would be Semitic.
Yeah,
But
but that would be Mirren's argument. He would be like, "Oh, well, it's Semite on Semite violence." That would be
mhm.
his argument as a black conservative. Um,
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't like I was expecting it to be anti-Semitic, but I was not expecting him to be like going that fucking hard.
yeah,
Like when you showed me the video, I was like I was kind of like, yeah, that was, whoo.
it,
Is he hanging out with Kanye West? Is that why he doesn't know how to dog whistle?
yeah, it's no, it's like literally like he looked up like Nazi websites and has just been reading insider stuff and not like understanding that there's a difference between being a Nazi media figure and being a Nazi like interpersonally like as like a ideology because like you said like Nick Fuentes has to learn to dog whistle and he wasn't always like that. He like got in a lot of trouble before by just saying openly like anti-Semitic things, and now he says stuff like that, and he does use like this misogyny, like this modern like hate towards women for just like existing in the modern world. He leverages that all the time. He also leverages like implicit homophobia and I think explicit closeting. Like I think a lot of his community as well as himself are like they all know that they're closeted, and it's like it's part of like uh I don't know, like weird fucking like Nazi sexual temperance, you know, like something like that.
Sometimes it's like the secret gay Nazi club.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
And
you nailed it.
the gay is the secret part,
Yeah,
not the Nazi part. That's pretty clear.
yeah.
I should actually, although now it kind of is because they want to stay monetized. I assume. Oh man, that video of when Nick Fuentes monologue he went on after the election was fucking nuts too.
Yeah,
Uh,
it what's the phrase? What's the phrase you did?
Your
Your
body,
body,
my
my
choice.
choice. Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
Crazy.
Like,
Yeah, it's like wild that like it's like Super Saiyan mode when they start to become at the point where they create like fascist like slogans on the spot like that. Like I've never heard of something so vile in so few words and like fucking that like that like blew up on the internet. It was so vile.
mhm. Yeah, and like the actual video of him, he just like he sounds like a fucking comic book villain.
Yeah, he's like
Like
laughing and everything.
he's laughing hysterically. Like he is incel Joker, like for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I know
Nick Fuentes.
he capes some of that energy, you know. That's why he's laughing like that. Half of those fucking groypers have Donald Trump and the other half have fucking Joker PFPs. All the whole lot of them.
Mm,
Um so this is another thing that happened. This was sort of in between us talking a little bit, but
okay.
before um Trump made his announcement for Secretary of Education, the of course, as you know, the very educated Linda McMahon um, is being the uh, uh, Secretary of Education. But before that choice, a lot of people thought that it was going to be Ryan Walters, who is the superintendent of Oklahoma. And have
Oh
you heard of this guy?
no, but I've heard I have a my friend Gatto, who you may have seen in some of my the episodes of my podcast. He used to live in Oklahoma, so I know some about Oklahoma's politics, and they suck.
Yeah, if it's basically like you either live on a reservation or you live in an extremely strange like country conservative culture. Uh, I was raised in Oklahoma for a good portion of my
Oh
life.
yeah.
Yeah, it was the one point in my time in my life where I was explicitly like made to sing patriotic music, like as if I was like a Korean North Korean like propaganda like video. Like we would go in and sing um, that one country song from the 80s. Well, I'm proud to be an American. We would go in there and sing that in
Lee
the morning
Greenwood.
as a school. Yeah, well,
Wait, that is Lee Greenwood, right? Did
I
he do
don't
that?
know. That name sounds familiar. I just know the words. I just
That's
know
because
every single
Tony
word.
Hinchcliffe has talked about him.
Oh, really?
It's,
In the bit?
that was in his opening monologue. He said you can tell who's just here to see Lee Greenwood. Was a comment he made.
Oh, okay, that was one of his jabs at the whites. I didn't even get it. See? He's not explicitly racist enough against white people. That's the biggest problem with this comedy. Um,
I saw someone in your comments trying to defend his Asian bit.
Yeah, it said it was
Uh,
17 years ago. I was like, he would have been a high schooler. What are you talking about? And it's because the guy mixed up a statement where he said that he came to Hollywood 17 years ago. But I was wrong because it wasn't the week beforehand. I had saw someone share the Twitter post, and that Twitter post was one from 3 years beforehand, and that person had just shared it after the bit. So that's actually what happened there.
right.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, this is Ryan Walters. He's the superintendent of Oklahoma, and a lot of people think this was his failed bid to become um, Secretary of Education.
God. An Oklahoman in charge of education.
Especially this
Mhm.
one.
Yeah. I gotta always gotta click on the thing.
I'm excited to announce today that Oklahoma is the first state to bring the Bible back to the classroom. Today we purchased over 500 Bibles that will be in the AP government classrooms across the state.
Okay, I have heard of this.
Bible just like this. We have the Bible, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights. These are foundational documents.
That's the Trump Bible.
Our kids have to understand the role the Bible played in influencing American history. It's very clear
Hold on, pause it.
that the
Pause
radical
it.
left has
That is-
driven the Bible out of the classroom.
What he just described is the contents of the Trump Bible.
Yeah, it's the Trump Bible. He bought 500 Trump Bibles for Oklahoma schools. Full price.
That's you could definitely have gotten cheaper Bibles. Hell, you could probably have printed your own Bibles with the Constitution in them cheaper.
I guarantee there are plenty of churches who would have provided Bibles to the school, like literally just to have Bibles there. Like it was literally just a ploy to get in Trump's vision for being like, I'm the guy who bought 500 of your Bibles, and it didn't work.
Also, this guy looks like this guy also he looks like a Canadian from South Park.
I can see it. He looks like he
Which leads to a lack of understanding of American history.
No, he just keeps
We
looking
will
like
not
that.
stop until we
He looks
brought
like
the Bible back
he's
to
wearing
every classroom.
foundation that's as light as his hands, but lighter than his neck, and so it kind of looks like a party clown.
Oh, if I'd known it was that, if I'd known
I'm
the clip was
excited
that
to announce
long.
today that Oklahoma is the first state
Look at that.
to bring the Bible back to the classroom.
He's wearing more foundation
Today
than my
we
wife.
purchased over 500 Bibles that will be in the AP government classrooms across the state. Bible just like this.
Let's see, here we go. That's a good frame for the segment I make of this. We have the Trump Bible. How about that?
Wow, and people think the Democrats are bad at spending.
Yeah.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and I honestly, if I had more time and maybe this will be a regular thing in the future, but the UAP meetings were like a moment where I was like, okay, they don't care about how much the government spends. They just want to spend on their stuff because those true believer Republicans in Congress will spend any amount of money to find an alien. They will sell us down the river to find an alien.
We're talking about illegal aliens, right?
No, well, honestly, they can't tell the difference.
I'm just making sure we're not talking about space aliens.
I'm talking about space aliens. I wouldn't
Oh, you
call
are
it-
talking about
yeah,
space
I'm
aliens.
talking about literal space. The UAP meetings in Congress happened the other day, and a lot of them want to like create like a government body that's meant purely just to look at for UAP, just to investigate flying saucers and shit.
Honestly, I would not have a problem.
It'll just
I
become
would-
money laundering.
You're probably right, but
It'll just be going to like weapons defense companies for making like weird gadgets that are like supposed to
fight
like,
aliens.
find shit. Yeah.
Amazing. Can I work there?
Can you imagine that being your job? You're just a surveyor for aliens. Uh,
All right, guys. All we gotta do today is man these radars into space. Pass me the ball. I think we found a super object. All right, let's pay attention to that for a while.
and it's really funny. They had a guy. He actually works for like the part of the government that does investigate this kind of stuff, and he's just like, "Yeah, we can't really tell you what happened when we don't know what happened. Like we could try our hardest to figure out what is in this photograph, but like this there's no way to find out what happened from a photograph. Like all you're getting is just like an image. It doesn't give you anything beyond like he's just trying to explain like basic logic to Congress.
If we knew they were aliens, they wouldn't be unidentified. We
And
would have identified
they
as
won't
aliens.
stop. They won't stop until they find them.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah. They're our last hope.
That's the part of the government Joe Rogan will be in charge of.
Any other comments on that Bible thing before we move on?
Just like the lack of education in our country is what creates conservative voters. That is what is becoming clear to me. I think the Republican Party's plan is to deliberately keep the population stupid enough and uneducated enough to not see through them. It's very, very frustrating, and I think could end us as a country. It's a stupid, stupid bid for power. Republicans are the worst.
Very succinct.
Or as I call them, Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Republicans and then Demo Democrats. Democrats. Yeah. See, I did one too.
Democrats?
Yeah, they already did it for us. They're the Democrats doing the work of disparaging themselves.
That's fucking true.
So, just wanted to. We're gonna wrap this up with this little 3 video lightning round.
Okay.
It's Trump
Good.
describing some of his future policies. So this is um um
This can be in the this can be for the reels.
yeah, and we're gonna go video to video to video. So the just
Okay.
when you want to comment, just we'll pause and then
Okay.
we won't comment on it afterwards. We'll just wrap up afterwards.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So even if you have you can have final comments. Like if you have something to say at the end of it, I'm not going to be like, okay, bye, and then in the phone call.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be easier for me to figure out this rhythm once I know how long they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Well, we got a 30-second one, a 4-minute one, and a 3-minute one. So it'll be
All right.
it's like an 8-minute lightning round of whatever
Okay.
comments you can make about what he's saying and what he looks like. Let's just go
All right.
for it.
Let's do it.
They will. They're coming by.
So this is Trump on the border.
That's the 30-second one? Jesus Christ.
Oh, he doesn't fuck around about the border. We learned that
That's
last
how you
time.
know it's bad
And before,
policy.
like, did you notice the part like during the campaign where Kamala said that she supported the wall, like where she supported the wall, the Mexico wall?
I
Did you
mean,
see
that's
that?
what the bill they tried to pass implies.
Yeah. And that was like the part that I was like, oh man, we're not gonna do great here. If we would have won, then they would have decided that every like right wing thing that they said was right to do. And if them losing, they also decided that every right wing thing they said was right to do, and we got Trump. So it was very much a lose-lose situation, except now we also have Trump. I just want to.
America's fucked.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hoping is that like Republicans being such obstructionists, hopefully they won't be able to. And him like doing like a cabinet of like pure loyalists. Hopefully they're gonna be like have so many things going on that they don't get enough done. Like that's like my biggest hope at this point. And we'll
Our
talk.
best hope is that they are ineffective.
Yeah, and that they're inefficient, like in doing like the things they want to do. Um, that'll be a big part of the conversation when we talk about the cabinet. But yeah, Trump on
Okay.
the border.
They will. They're
Nice,
coming by
let's
the
do it.
thousands, by the tens of thousands. As part of my plan to secure the border on day one of my new term in office, I will sign an executive order making clear to federal agencies that under the correct interpretation of the law, going forward, the future children of illegal aliens will not receive automatic U.S. citizenship. It's things like this that bring millions of people.
Wait, what? Stop. That is not constitutional.
Yeah.
That goes directly against the Constitution of the United States of motherfucking America. Holy shit. Holy shit, he's gonna end birthright citizenship. Holy shit. I mean, it's an executive order, so I assume people will undo it as soon as they can. Hopefully someone will undo it as soon as they come into office, but holy shit. There's no way this doesn't go to court. There's no way this does not go to court.
It's
There's
gonna
no
go
way.
to the Supreme Court, like without a doubt. But like with the court stacked, I almost feel like at this point they'll make up anything. Like they're in the home stretch here. The Supreme Court they'll make up anything to like pass like crazy shit at this point. I mean, even their justification for abortion was completely inconsistent with Casey not Roe v. Wade, but Casey, the new standard that we are under after Roe v. Wade. Because everyone says Roe v. Wade, but we were actually on Casey. I forget the other part of it. It's something v. Casey.
And shit, I forgot. I had someone else I was going to say, but I forgot what it was. But like, just fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
To our country.
Damn.
And they enter our country illegally.
That was Trump on the border. Here's
Oh my god.
Here's Trump
Our
on
country is
cartels.
being-
This should be good. By good, I mean this. I'm expecting this to be dumb.
It's like every worst idea that the Republicans have ever had, they're on now. They're on it. I mean, they were repudiating Project 2025 until the first day after he won, and then they were all like, "Yeah, we're doing Project 2025." That was never even. What are you talking about?
Our country is being
They don't pretend like they're above hypocrisy like the Democrats do. So when they're called hypocrites, it's like nothing. It's like all they're rubber.
poisoned from within by the drugs and by all of the other crime that's taking place. The drug cartels are waging war in America, and it's now time for America to wage war on the cartels. In this war,
Already, we have to address the dishonest language. Like, what is going on with America and the cartels is not a war. It is the result of black markets.
Yeah.
Black markets function in this manner. Pretending that this is like to phrase it as a war is dishonest. Their goal is not to conquer us. Their goal is to create a parasitic homeostasis where we always exist to buy their product.
Yeah, it's literally a business relationship, which he knows. He knows that. But it's the
To call it a war is just disingenuous. Their goals are not the same as like they don't want to overthrow America.
It doesn't make any sense. Why would they overthrow someone that they're selling drugs to? It's like when they say that drug dealers are killing people with their drugs intentionally. Like, of course, people die of overdoses all the time, but they imply that drug dealers hit people with their drugs. And why would you do that when they pay your bills? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Every addict in America is paying the bills of the cartels. They're not.
There's a reason that drug dealers pay junkies to test drugs before they sell them.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a reason that they like whenever they get a high concentration of shit, they cut it down usually. Like if they're a normal street dealer, like it's when you get like a new drug that they're unfamiliar with, like something like fentanyl, where you get like uh, someone selling it, and then it's like stronger than the heroin that someone's used to, and then it's like
Joe Biden has sided against the United States and with the cartels. They are making more money
this
than they've
one,
ever made before.
it's fucking wild.
It's 10. There's
He just
never been
accused
anything.
the man whose hand he just shook with the fucking siding with the that's a wild claim. Like, siding with the cartel implies that you have an agreement with the cartel to somehow profit off of them sending drugs into your country. That is a wild and baseless accusation.
And
that
like
is obscene.
Biden's over here like, welcome back, Jack, to the White House. Look, I'm the incumbent and you're the newcomer. That's like a little joke between us because you were already the president once. And then Trump's like, yeah, and you're waging war on us with the fucking cartels, aren't you? Like it's such an like asymmetrical relationship, the Democrats and Republicans. Especially, it's gotten out of control, like wildly different like tactics and like ways that they interact with politics.
Why even say this? He's not. He's about to leave office.
It's a pot shot.
The only reason to say something like this is if you intend like some sort of continued ill will against Joe Biden after you become president.
Yeah, like he's setting the groundwork to prosecute him. Yeah.
It's alarming rhetoric.
Well, and that's why, like, I mean, like, nobody can blame Joe Biden for pardoning his son at this point, especially now that Trump's gonna win, like, because, like, who fucking knows, like, what they're gonna start throwing at these people, and I mean, like the Fox News commentators said, what father wouldn't spare their son that? It's just the idea that, you know, they can't leverage being better than people. That's the problem. They have to just be like, no, I'm like everybody else, you know, I will pardon my son. Like, and he should have just stuck with that shit or not said anything.
This video seems like it's going to have an insane number of insane comments per minute. So let's get back into this.
They're major companies. They're bigger than even some of our biggest companies. Biden's open border policies are a deadly betrayal of our nation. When I am president, it will be the policy of the United States to take down the cartels, just as we took down ISIS and the ISIS caliphate, and just as...
Okay. There were actually a number of crazy things there, but like that, like I cannot comment on that.
Like the situation...
Like, is he implying that we are going to send active military into Mexico to take out the cartels?
I think that is what he's implying. I think he's implying that they work like ISIS.
Like that's crazy. I mean, like, to be honest, like there's a part of but like I get it. Like it's like a part of that like monkey part of your brain, like deep in there, where you're like, yeah, let's take in the special units and just kill all the cartel, just like ISIS. Like, but like from like a international politics standpoint, that's like real dicey.
Even saying it. Even just saying this shit.
We're today, we had a very strong border.
I think they commented on this and they were like, this is crazy, and hopefully he doesn't do anything like that because we're a different country. Something along those lines.
Biggest border,
like,
in fact, in the history of our country. And drugs were at a low of 45 years. There's been nothing like what we did just 2 years ago. We will show no mercy on the cartels. Every day, drug traffickers are using the waters of our region to ship their lethal poisons to America, killing so many of our people and ruining families. In addition to restoring strong border security, I will deploy all necessary military assets, including the U.S. Navy, to impose the full naval embargo on the cartels. I did that before, and it worked. What we did was incredible. We will guarantee that the waters of the Western Hemisphere are not used to traffic illicit drugs to our country. Furthermore, I will order the Department of Defense to make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt and covert actions to inflict maximum damage on cartel leadership, infrastructure, and operations. I will.
You could get away with cyber stuff.
Yeah.
We could get away with cyber stuff because you don't have to like actually interact with that country to do cyber stuff. So I could see that happening, and I'd be okay with that. If we want hackers to fuck with the cartel or somehow use whatever against the cartel, I'm fine with that conceptually. Yeah. But like everything else here sounds like an act of war.
Yeah, the one thing that I do find reassuring is him being like, "We've already done it before." So it's almost like him being like, it's just gonna be like the last time I was here. I was just bullshitting, you know. Like he built like a few hundred miles of a wall, and of course he did like the Muslim ban. But the biggest effects he had last time he was in office was like deregulation type of shit.
Yeah, that deregulation shit is scary. I looked up some more deregulations. Like it's like he undid the safety stuff that was put in for Deep Horizon 6 after Deep Horizon 6 happened. Remember, am I getting the name right? The BP oil spill thing.
Okay.
Like we put in safety regulations after that happened, and he undid them. It's going to actively make it more likely to happen again, and also make things unsafe for people who work on fucking oil rigs.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Designate the major cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. We will sever their access to global financial systems. I will also work to forge an unprecedented partnership with neighboring governments in our region, just like I did in Mexico. And remember, in Mexico alone, an estimated 100,000 civilians have been tragically murdered or gone missing at the hands of these cartels.
Okay, he sounded like he had a mini stroke on the word murdered.
Yeah.
Mexican government, run by a very fine man, the president, is really working hard, but it's not working out. These cartels are vicious, and they're...
That was a funny little, I bet the person who wrote that speech, like, felt proud of it.
Violent, and they have Mexico for now stymied. Well, we have to help Mexico, and we have to stymie the cartels. Either we will get the full cooperation of other governments to stop this menace, or we will expose every bribe, every kickback, every payoff, and every bit of corruption that is allowing the cartels to preserve their brutal reign, and it is indeed brutal. Finally, as I have said before, I will ask Congress to pass legislation ensuring that drug smugglers and human traffickers receive...
Was he just threatening to blackmail Mexico, basically?
I can't tell if he was threatening to blackmail Mexican politicians or American politicians, but I think it was Mexican politicians. I think he said they would like reveal kickbacks from the cartels to them.
I mean, he needs to have some kind of leverage to get Mexico to agree to let America just send in our troops.
Yeah, I mean that's a military occupation, but they're I mean
the death penalty. The drug cartels and their allies in the Biden administration have the blood of countless millions on their hands. Millions and millions of families and people
he tied the Biden administration into it.
Being destroyed.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
When I'm back in the White House, the drug kingpins and vicious traffickers will never sleep soundly again. We did it once, and we did it better than anybody else. There's never been a better border than we had just 2 years ago. It was strong, it was powerful, and it was respected all over the world. And now we're laughed at all over the world. And we're not going to let that happen much longer. We have to take over. We have to be tough. We have to be smart. We have to be fair. But if we don't do something immediately, our country is gone.
That is Hitlerian. I've been, I don't know, I don't think I mentioned this to you, but I've been watching so many Holocaust documentaries in preparation
Oh God.
of the forthcoming uh, worst case scenario because they're promising mass deportations. Uh, Last time they did it, Project uh, I'll say WB, so I don't have to find the slur on my thing, but it was a project to send Mexicans out of the country, and half of them were American citizens. So I literally have like my birth certificate like in like a cabinet ready to go if immigration shows up. But that like or they will destroy our country. That kind of shit is so like so much like something Hitler would have said. Like
I mean, all that shit was a very alarmist. It was designed to make you afraid. It was, but also give you the idea that he is the one who's here to protect you and save you from this thing, and that he's he's setting himself up to be like the fucking messiah.
he's almost it
And
almost also came off like a car commercial too.
and like he's literally threatening to he's literally describing using military action against the Mexican cartels. It's fucking wild.
Here are
Like
It feels
the thing
like
is that that's Mexico's call. Like if Mexico's not on board with this, then like what do we then like then will he back off? Will he back off if Mexico says we'd rather you didn't do that?
we just make Mexico our Poland.
Oh my god.
That would be outrageous. I see the thing about like
Dude.
the thing about him being Hitlerian is I don't think he's like as capable as Hitler was, even though Hitler was still.
Okay, I'm gonna wildly speculate for a minute. This is wild conspiracy speculation. But what if when we won World War II, the Nazis just got all up in America, all over, and slowly worked their way through numerous stages of power. And now we are seeing the final fruits of that labor in Donald Trump. And like Argentina is doing their weird shit because Argentina is going to help us when we start taking over Central America.
Yeah.
He's going to send an army in to Mexico as a under the guise of eliminating oh my god, he's going to do it just like Putin. He's going to send the American army into Mexico under the guise of decartelizing them. And then we're going to take Mexico and slowly move through Central America as Argentina, as our ally, moves upwards. That's why Argentina wants to use our currency, because that's their plan.
Well, that's like a you know, back in the 90s when the sci-fi movie would go like 40 years in the future, like not far enough in the future. That's what that feels like. That description. Um, Everybody for some reason they scan their faces to get indoors. Okay, here we go.
10 key ideas that will power our movement for.
Oh, this is Trump on just to prepare you a little. This is Trump on education.
Here are 10 key ideas that will power our movement for great schools. First, we will respect the right of parents to control the education of their children. Second, we will empower parents and local school board to hire and reward great principals and teachers, and also to fire the poor ones, the one whose performance is unsatisfactory. They will be fired. Like on The Apprentice, you're fired. Third, we will ensure our classrooms are focused, not on political
Jesus.
indoctrination, but on teaching the knowledge and skills needed to succeed. Reading, writing, math,
Okay,
science.
pause. This, like, what he's describing is almost like making the parents the vanguard party of schools.
Yeah.
Like that's
They've had a
like
lot of
like
success leveraging parental rights with schools lately.
yeah, and the thing about it is that that's fucking insane.
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck does a parent know? Parents can't even help their kids with fucking homework. It's ridiculous. And, you know, there was probably a small period of time where, like, most of the people in this country had enough humility to accept that. And now it's like, I think there's probably like 40% of people think schools are important nowadays.
Jesus.
Arithmetic, and other truly useful subjects. Fourth, we will teach students to love their country, not to hate their country like they're taught right now.
Bam!
Fifth,
Indoctrination.
we will support bringing back prayer to our schools. Sixth, we will achieve schools that are safe, secure, and drug-free.
So, if anybody's counting, that is twice he has promised something explicitly unconstitutional to us as not just not a campaign promise. These are like statements about his future administration. Like it's a whole like it's a I think a little bit more credible than a campaign promise.
With immediate expulsion for any
literal.
student.
You're right. It's all just unconstitutional stuff.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
Who harms a teacher or another student. Seventh, we will give all parents the right to choose another school for their children if they want. It's called school choice. Eighth, we will ensure students have access
That's gonna be
to
a fucking
project-based
mess.
learning
Especially
experiences
national school
inside the
choice.
classroom to help train them for meaningful work outside the classroom. Ninth, we will
Hold on.
strive to give
Freeze.
all
Go back. Actually, go back. Here, we need to go over that because if
Meaningful
I
work.
just heard what I thought I heard, I need to explicitly say what is wrong with it.
school
So
choice.
go back.
Eighth, we will ensure students have access to project-based learning experiences inside the classroom to help train them for meaningful work outside the classroom. Ninth,
Okay, so he did say what he thought he said. So just so everyone knows, this is what he is describing is like this is like Soviet Russia shit, man. Like what he is describing is like literally creating, like putting children into like giving their lives the level of direction so much as to set them on their career path in high school.
Yeah.
Like to take, like almost to cut the working class off from college.
Yeah, exactly. It's like trying to streamline them directly into working for companies. Like and make the work education, like the workplace training part of their education. Like which is like a whole nother like way to benefit companies without even like needing to actually give them anything. You just say, well, now you got a whole bunch of trained workers. They're ready to work in an office for you. I showed them how to do paperwork. I didn't teach them anything about history though, but they know how to file anything that isn't problematic. Because definitely didn't teach them how to file a FOIA or something.
Like this, people need to understand that this is literally dystopian.
Yeah.
This is a dystopian mindset for education. This is not viewing to empower your children as individuals. This is a setup to build employees.
Yeah.
Okay? This is literally, we're talking about indoctrination factories. That's what they're talking about turning schools into. This is the most this is worse than many of the things I imagine Trump doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
well,
is
and
fucking terrible.
he made sure to get a real loyalist in there, Linda McMahon, who is, as far as I can tell, not an educator.
No, but she is a failed politician.
Yeah. Well, and I
We
believe a billionaire.
will strive to give all
Yeah, she's
students
super
access
rich.
to internships and work experiences that can set them on a path to their first job. They're going to be very, very successful. I want them to be more successful than Trump. Let them go out and be more successful. I
But they
will be
won't
the
be more
happiest
successful as Trump because that's not the type of jobs that the projects are going to be based around.
Yeah, it's
They
gonna be like,
benefit most from creating the labor class.
yeah, it's gonna be like how to work at an oil field and not ask about unions. That'll be like all of the training.
Best case scenario is you're in a class that teaches you how to repair the robots that are taking other people's jobs.
Yeah. And then when they when they build the robots, I can build the robots. Forget about it, and we're all done. It'll be Horizon Zero Dawn.
in the world. But we
Jesus.
want our children to have a great life and be successful. And 10th, we will ensure that all schools provide excellent jobs and career counseling so that high school and college students can get a head start on jobs.
And I don't know if anybody's keeping count of this, but he said the same thing 3 times in a row, just explicitly being like, "School is to make an employee. School is for jobs. I will give you a job out of school. You go to high school, you leave with a job."
Careers best suited
This is like
to their
this is like fascist Soviet Union shit.
Yeah, it's like the
This is
scariest
fucking
thing in a
wild.
conservative's mind, and they've managed to like support it. Like they managed to like hate Democrats and bureaucracy so much that they've become the villain that they've described Democrats as being. It is so like it is the purest form of irony. Uh, Either that or like a lot of them are just aware of that, and it's just all cynical.
If Donald Trump goes through with these education plans, he will be the worst president in US history.
Well, they won't keep track of that.
God-given talents. This is how we will ensure.
Or
a
he'll
great
be the best
education
president in
for
U.S.
every
history, along
American
with
child. And one
every
thing
other
I'll be
single
doing very
president,
early
and
in
that's
the
all of U.S.
administration
history you'll
is
get.
closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation, and yet we're absolutely at the bottom. We're one of the worst. So you can't do worse.
So we should stop spending money on them. So we should stop paying for that.
We're going to
Also, I know we're low, but we're not the worst.
education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up, all those buildings all over the place, and you have people that in many cases hate our children. We're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much.
That was terrifying.
Yeah.
Like that one is that set of policies is genuinely terrifying.
Yeah.
Like that is fucking insane. Like his view on it, what he is setting up education for is just straight up fascism. Like that is the type of society that education system builds.
Yeah. Oh,
it's not one that values individualism or artistic expression. It values cold hard success.
Mm-hmm.
It values winning. It values domination. It values money.
I just like wonder, like, with so much inability from the Democrats to get like certain big things done, and then the strength of like the obstructionist like group of the GOP. I feel like if the Department of Education goes away, we have 50 years before we get it back. You know, it'll take way longer to get it back than it took to lose. You know,
people are gonna be stupid for a while.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is that like, homeschool. Oh man.
Yeah.
If like this is the direction that education goes, I'm gonna be encouraging people to homeschool in a few years.
I'm literally going to have to because my daughter has special needs, and I can't send her to a school if there's no special education. Like she won't learn anything, you know. So
like most, like getting into private schools that aren't controlled by the Trump administration will also now be a positive.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true. And the vouchers aren't going to be enough to pay for those schools. They're usually like a couple grand, but tuition
yeah.
at a school is like 15 grand a year. Like it's nowhere near like what a voucher would pay for. Like it doesn't work. It's not a good system. So what are your closing feelings on the stuff I showed you? Uh, any bright spots, lighthearted uh, uh, feelings you're getting?
I mean, you really ended with the gut punch here in terms of the filming. I know you're gonna chop these videos up, but that you definitely saved the gut punch for
Yeah, I
last.
didn't want to kill the vibe in the beginning with those.
No, like straight Donald Trump's policies are straight up dystopian. There's no other word for them. Those were dystopian policies. Every single one of those videos you showed me had some dystopian element to it. And that's insane. Like I weep for our country. This is I am alarmed.
Yeah, yeah. As am I.
It's gonna be great for comedy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great for comedy until he starts killing the comedians.
Yeah, until it's
And
literally like it was 40 years ago and comedians have to like suffer for being counterculture and subversive.
we'll have to create a
In a way that
fictional
a lot
character.
of modern comedians forgot apparently because they think that
Yeah.
getting your show canceled is like getting sent to jail or beat the shit out of you, you know, like
Mhm.
it's not a great situation. But I mean, all those guys are they're going to be fine. They're not going to say anti-Trump comedy. They're going to just keep Tony Hinchcliffing it up.
Mhm.
Um,
I think, although I do think that some people in the comedy community will, I think some people will flip on him
yeah,
if he like actually starts going through with dystopian things.
yeah, yeah. Well, because right now a lot of it hinges on he's bullshitting. He was bullshitting last time. He's bullshitting now. But
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. Is that like if even like a little bit of the things he described come to pass, we will have made America more dystopian
mhm.
by some percentage, and that's what people don't understand. And the other thing about it, though, is that also is because everyone thinks that he's just being dramatic. Like, side note, why would you vote for a drama queen?
Yeah,
Uh, some people think he's just being like melodramatic or whatever. Means that the point at which people could voice their concerns will be significantly delayed between him doing the actual shit.
yeah.
And that's the problem.
And
Like,
it might be like the first fascist takeover of a government that instead of caused by like mostly like terrible economic situations, it's caused by like complacency and boredom of the middle class, you know, like wanting to like change the country no matter what the change is, you know. Because of course like a lot of people are suffering, but people who suffer the most are the poor. The middle class have it pretty well off in this country. The stock market will tell you that, and that's why all the white people vote Trump. You know, they know that. They know that their pocketbook's going to be better after this. They just they don't care how. Um, but yeah, we'll talk again when we do the uh, cabinet. That's going to be a little different, but um,
okay,
it's gonna be fun too. I promise. But it
all
was
right.
good hanging
Well,
out with you. I have to pee so bad, and I don't want to like
I understand.
uh, leave
Probably
you alone
same.
for the last few minutes. So it was good talking to you, Ruben.
All right, I had fun, man. You have a great evening.
Sweet. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later, dude. Take care.
You too.